Hello YouTube, this is the Casual Film Critic here, and today I'm going to make my top 5 movies of 2013 list, because I think it's a good time of the year, right at the end, to make a top 5 list. I've seen most of the movies I wanted to see, and I just think it's a good time. And something I want to get out of the way before I start this, I have not seen every movie I've wanted to see. I still haven't seen Her, haven't seen Don John, and I haven't seen Out of the Furnace. I haven't seen a couple movies, but I have seen other movies that I think looked very good. So, before we start the top 5 list, I wanted to get some honorable mentions out of the way because I don't want these movies to be forgotten because these movies are very good. They just didn't make it into my top 5 list. So, my honorable mentions. First movie in my honorable mentions is American Hustle, directed by David O. Russell. This movie was very, very good. I mean, the acting was excellent, the characters are very in-depth, and it was an overall just very entertaining movie. Might even win the Oscar this year. I just thought the story was a little bit weak, and the ending wasn't perfect, but it was still very good. Next movie, Way Way Back, one of the best coming-of-age movies I've seen, and I know, it didn't make it into my top 5, but this movie was very good. Very good acting, very good story, just entertaining, excellent ending, one of the best endings of the year for sure. Next movie on my honorable mentions, Gravity. Excellent movie, it's a roller coaster ride of a movie, so entertaining, amazing special effects. Just the story was just not as much as it could have been, but maybe I just wasn't looking the right way when I was seeing this movie. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the right stuff, but didn't make it into my top 5. Next movie, Spectacular Now. Probably a movie that many of you have never even heard of. I mean, Miles Teller, I think is his name, is the main actor in this movie. Again, a very good coming-of-age film about high schoolers and kind of just finding your way in life, and it's very good. I mean, great acting, like, great acting. I mean, this guy's got some talent, and just a overall very good movie. Next movie, very overlooked, it's The Great Gatsby. Don't know who it's directed by. Oh, I know who he is. I just don't know his name. But Leonardo DiCaprio is very good as Gatsby, and very entertaining. Stays true to the story. Soundtrack I thought was very good. I know many people didn't like it, but I loved it. Yeah, it was a good movie. Next movie, Iron Man 3. This movie was a great ending to the trilogy. Barely didn't make it into my top 5, just because it had it had its moments where it was just kind of boring, and it was just a little too odd, I guess. You didn't really know what you were getting into when you saw this movie. Didn't really seem like an Iron Man movie, but that's not a bad thing. And my final honorable mentions movie is Catching Fire, the second part of the trilogy of The Hunger Games. I thought this was better than the first one, and really, really wanted to put this in my top 5, but again, there was just movies that beat it. Jennifer Lawrence, again, showing that she's one of the best actresses in Hollywood today. And, yeah, it's not going to win any awards, obviously, just because it's a teen movie, that's probably why. Okay, now going into my top 5 movies of 2013. Number 5, you probably did not see this coming, but Anchorman 2. This movie was just a great, great sequel. I did not expect much from this movie. I just didn't expect much. I mean, the first Anchorman is one of my favorite comedies of all time, and it's a very, I would say, almost a cult classic. Not a classic yet, but I think it will be. It's just so quotable, so funny, and this one is, dare I say it, more funny than the first movie. It was funnier. Again, personal opinion, it was wackier, it was crazy. You never knew what was going to happen. I was laughing nonstop. Great, just segments of humor. It's like little skits, basically, and it's so funny. You could really tell that Will Ferrell and Adam McKay put a lot of work into this movie. But it had its flaws, but those didn't really shy it away from being a great sequel. I mean, it dragged on for a little bit at the end. That's the really the only problem I had with this movie. Overall, great movie. It's in theaters right now, so I would go see it if I were you. Number 4 on my top 5 list is This Is the End. I bet you could see this one coming. This is my favorite comedy of the year. Flat out hilarious, great cast, love how these actors portray themselves in such a way where they're making fun of themselves and also making fun of the way that we portray how these people are in real life. Jonah Hill especially. I mean, I don't want to go in depth because it's going to take a while, but if you know these guys, you will find this movie very funny. I mean, Jonah Hill, James Franco, Danny McBride, Jay Baruchel, so funny. And it actually had a heartwarming ending, which actually kind of shocked me. I didn't see that coming. And it's a very smart film and knows what it is, and it just does so much more. It's just really funny, really raunchy, everything you could want from a Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg film. I mean, it's funnier than Superbad, which is a very hard thing to say because Superbad is such a good movie. Okay, now on to my number 3 slot, which is the most powerful and most relevant film of the year, 12 Years a Slave. Now, this movie was just praised by the critics so well, and I went into it thinking, I don't know if I'm going to like it, because all these high expectations, I just don't know if I'm going to love it as much as the critics do, and I did. So well made, amazing acting, one of the best acted films of the year for sure. And especially from supporting actress, her name is Lupita Nyong'o, I think, something like that. She was amazing. The main actor in the movie, who played Solomon, Chiwetel Ejiofor, I tried to pronounce that as well as I could. Especially Michael Fassbender. As a slave owner, he was brutal, he was mean, he was a terrible person, and I loved watching him. Not do these things, just acting. He was amazing. Every time he was on screen, you were just scared. You were scared for them, and you were scared for yourself because you had no idea what was going to happen. Just amazing story, amazing screenplay, amazing director. I mean, Steve McQueen he really has some talent here. It's just a great movie. I mean, especially, there's some scenes in this movie, you're just sitting there and you just are shocked, like, I can't believe this actually happened. It's a very American film in the way that it shows what America was like not only 200 years ago. I mean, this movie, it's American, and it's very relevant to what we are today, I guess, like what we've become today. And you just, as me being a Caucasian, just feel kind of bad. I mean, like, Caucasians were really this brutal this long ago. I mean, people are brutal in this movie. Great acting. Paul Giamatti was in it for a little bit. I think I pronounced that right. Great movie. My number 2, best film of the year. The most underrated film of the year, by far. The Place Beyond the Pines. I mean, what a movie. I mean, this film is amazing. The director, I think it's his name. First name's Derek. I'm just going to call him Derek. He's amazing. He knows how to film certain scenes so well. There's some scenes in this movie, some shots, I guess you could just say. Some shots in this movie are just so well done. You'll just be like, wow. Like, I guess that's the best way to say it. You'll just be like, wow. Excellent acting by Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling, and the 2 kids. At the end, the 2 teenagers, they are amazing. One of them is from Chronicle. The other one, I don't know. It's a very good score, too. I mean, the score to this movie, or I guess you could say the soundtrack, is excellent. Entertaining story. I think it's an original story, too, which is amazing. And the ending is perfect. And the thing that really made this movie original is that it had 3 chapters. I'm not going to tell you what the chapters are, because if I do, it will almost spoil the story. I mean, this movie is just so well done, so well crafted. This movie could have been a mess, but it wasn't. Loved it. And my number 1 film of the year is The Wolf of Wall Street. Yes, the Martin Scorsese epic film. I'm going to call it an epic because that's what it is. It is a movie about the excess of this one horrible, horrible man named Jordan Belfort. And Leonardo DiCaprio portrays this man so well, you will just hate every single thing about him, but you can't wait to see what happens next. If he's going to get nominated, I think. I mean, if he doesn't get nominated, I'll be shocked. and I really want him to win. It's just, this is such a crowded year for movies, especially for actors. This is the most crowded year for actors in a while. And I know Leonardo DiCaprio stands out, but really, Matthew McConaughey and Jonah Hill, especially Matthew McConaughey. I mean, he had a 6-minute scene, and those 6 minutes were probably at least one of my favorite parts of the movie. I mean, for sure, one of my top 3 favorite parts of the movie. And Jonah Hill, again, standing out. If you looked at him 6 years ago, you're like, no way, he's never gonna be in a Martin Scorsese movie, especially a movie like this with Leonardo DiCaprio, Matthew McConaughey. But no, he is, and he's amazing. Same with Kyle Chandler and some of these other guys. I mean, I don't know their names, but the guy from My Name is Earl, kind of Earl's best friend, he's in it. He's one of Leonardo DiCaprio's, I guess you could say, henchmen. I'm just kind of like pointing that out because that's something that I noticed. This movie is very entertaining, great soundtrack, amazing acting, best acted film of the year. It's either this or 12 Years a Slave, but I thought it was Wolf of Wall Street. And one of the reasons I really like this movie is because people have hated this movie, people have loved this movie. But I think this movie is a movie that we will be talking about years from now. This and 12 Years a Slave, the 2 movies we will be talking about from now. But Wolf of Wall Street was my favorite film of the year. It was hilarious. It was intense. It was well directed, well acted. Everything about this movie was amazing. And that's my top 5 films of the year. Thank you. This is a Casual Film Critic. I'll see you later, YouTube.